Hello, my global villagers, and welcome back to your next village idiot. We are now touched down in God's country, namely Homerton. We're back in the garden watching Murphy as he hides among the barbecues and the garden waste, and the beautiful memories of a sparkling Spanish sea are far in the distance. I am now cravatless, but I am still shade full, which is good for me. Mainly just sort of back to reality in quite a brutal fashion. But I felt like you guys needed another update sooner rather than later. What is it, baby? Are you wanting to go on a walk? I might take you on a little walk then if you want to go. We haven't discussed this before, but we have a pram for the cat. And it's really good for you if you want to be both the kind of odd witch accused local and the it girl darling at the same time. You rock up to any cafe with a cat in the pram. There's this beautiful mix of judgment, ridicule, and affection, and I'm starting to live for it, honestly. I'm becoming of an age where I need a hobby to be my whole personality, so that if I'm ever asked about my current employment or whether or not the feds are after me, I can distract people by being like, oh, I'm really into high octane pram design. So I'm hoping that can be my thing. It's also just like fun. For some reason, real mothers talk to you on the level, almost as if having anything in a pram means that you've had the same experience of motherhood. And I think, like most kind of softer men, I would love the experience of motherhood without actually having to commit to anything. That's maybe the most cis guy thing I can think of. I don't want any of the smoke. I don't want any of the responsibility, but I do want to be able to shoot the shit with you over an oat milk flat white. There was the last few days of the wedding, as discussed in the most recent episode, were absolutely wonderful. It was really, really nice. Just like a funny thing with my family is that we cannot do sober family pictures. All of them, we're so happy. All of us are doing the kind of slough, the kind of either blurry or like kind of all caught slipping. It's a remarkable occasion where the entire family's caught slipping in almost every group photo we took together, which makes me very happy. But the other thing that happened was quite nice. Me and Eiley managed to get some nice couple time in two cases. One, it was essentially going for hikes and then ending up at a beach, which was fabulous. The first time was this great walk along with a speaker. And we ended up at this nude beach, and I discovered that I'd forgotten my swimming trunks. The ideal place to forget your swimming trunks. It did make me feel like a cheapskate trying to get out of paying for dinner, but for just being naked, if that makes sense. It was very much like, oh, did I forget my... Oh, you'll just have to see my cock. Like, it was kind of that vibe. And the funny thing as well was, like, obviously we've walked past, I would say, the archetypal leathery skinned Spanish man laid out on the beach. So it was like, okay, it's fine. We can do this. No one minds. It's not causing any offense. But the funniest thing was it's actually quite a shallow beach where you're kind of walking 7 steps out and the water is still at your shin. So at that point, you're like, okay, when is that actually going to lower and I can actually cover myself? Because, like, I don't want to just be flinging and flanging around. Because when you're sort of, you're caught in this kind of bind because you want to cover yourself quicker. But to do that, you kind of need to, really windmill yourself at, onlookers and strangers, some of whom have their kids there. So you don't want to... It's sort of like finding out that, like, the key to your, like, army's trench can only be accessed once you set off 10,000 flares. So you're sort of running, gone. The other thing as well I found was that although it was allowed that it was a nude beach, Eiley didn't feel like being nude, which is her want, but somehow it makes me look more insane. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like I've dragged her to this nude beach while, you know, she doesn't want to be there. I'm just like, this is who I really am, you know? Because, you know, if we're both doing it, it's like we're European and stuff, but like now it was, so that was fun. And then the second one was just this genuine hike, which was just really nice, and I could see myself taking up that as a hobby as well. But as with all things, we're now back to reality. And back to reality with quite a kind of brutal swiftness of reading about, and I feel like no one is talking about how Russia tried to kill the British Prime Minister. It's quite a wild thing where it kind of just, how much do your own people dislike you that your essentially assassination attempt can be announced and everyone's just like, yeah, well, better luck next time, buddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no one, I feel like it hit and no one's talking to me about it at all. It's the most insane story. And, you know, not one we're unfamiliar with if you keep up with the movements of far-right violence, but, like, ostensibly, the guy who did the arson attack on Keir Starmer's house was paid for by a Russian account that was masquerading as a British Patriot account, which was ostensibly a far-right group. The funniest thing, though, was that he is saying all this stuff. He's a real pro-Russian, really pro-Russian account, saying like really mad shit, like he is, like Putin is the greatest white person, and the Russia's the return of the Roman Empire and stuff. Really conspiratorial stuff. But then they still hired a Ukrainian guy. So I sort of wonder, you know what I mean? It's like maybe just the Ukrainians are better. You know what I mean? Like maybe they actually will get the job done. Like it's a lot of chat. It's a lot of chat about how great Russia is, and it's just like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like we're not so different, you and I, even though I'm absolutely trying to get you. I just like they really needed that new sort of high octane Ukrainian military know-how to just do a firebomb. The craziest thing as well, it's all this pro-Russian stuff, like do it for the good of the country, and then the payment for the arson only came to about 749 quid. That's a terrible rate for arson. Are you kidding me? You know they're not even covering the expenses of, like, you know, the oil and the cloth in the bottle. You know what I mean? You can't even get a proper Molotov from these Russian guys. It's so annoying. And listen, as someone who's worked for startups before that have screwed me over, it's a tale as old as time. You know, they come in here selling you the dream of the Russian Empire, the new great Russian nation. We're gonna, we need to do this for the thing. Oh, however, I think we can only pay you about 27k. Is that okay? Oh, you're not allowed to work from home as well. Sorry, you have to come in. Like, it's just amazing to me that even in what should be a moneymaker, which is essentially new espionage warfare, still can't get the goods, still can't get the staff, can't even convince the guy. It's all basically a mess. And I think as well, it's quite funny that happened on the back. It happened on Telegram, which is hilarious. Like, I mean, I feel like at this point, Telegram is just like the shady Star Wars bar where tons of bad deals happen and no one really gives a shit. I mean, like, it's really, I feel like they're almost going to see that on a sponsored ad, you know, just the burning flames of Keir Starmer's house, and then Telegram being like, Telegram, we can make stuff happen. For those that don't know, to catch you all up on how amazing my riff on that is, brought to you by my lack of gigs the past couple of days, is basically they were masquerading as they were offering money for all kinds of general instability stuff, all basically parroting talking points of Reform and Tommy Robinson, who, by the way, shared some of the stuff from the guy. But when they looked deeper on Telegram, it wasn't just pro-white far-right stuff, instability, and it wasn't just that. They found their old account on Telegram also funded people to be fake Islamic agitators. So they were giving money for people to write like bad graffiti under the same account. They went back and changed it. Like, they were just like, they don't even, they're playing both sides. It's this crazy thing where, like, I honestly think that's the reason, that's the narrative around undermining the extreme racism that's developing in this country. Not even developing, that's like loud and present, in that it is basically outside talking points from Russia. I mean, we literally, every time you have Elon Musk essentially sending like a vertical cameo, all these guys out there they're 4 pints in, and then suddenly on the flat screen you get the least charismatic man in the world coming on vertical, like a cameo, like, "Hi guys, shout out to Brentford, I love what you're doing for the white race." Like, and that is enough to, just every time you have these guys, people who only benefit from the instability caused by these racist narratives. And I actually think at this point you're sort of doing a favor to Tommy Robinson by accusing him of being an idiot. Like, that's actually the highest praise you could say to him at this point. How can you? He is just that dense. Like, I really don't see how you can't see yourself as a pawn in that regard. And it's to the highest bidder. I think, honestly, like, they're gonna some of these hyper rich guys, or either these Russian oligarchs or these tech guys who kind of get off on stoking these tensions. I think they're gonna do it like 50 quid a pop. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like how all those billionaires go to space. They're like, "Hey, do you want to create a riot in your name? We're gonna start naming them like storms." That's how regularly they're happening in this country. But no one cares. Why everyone should be condemning this? He tried to kill the prime minister. That's bad for us. It's like, I feel like the general sentiment of where we're living right now, and when I say where, I mean like where we're all living, was a comment I saw on a TikTok video. It happens, like, I remember reading a story about how there was like a sort of Chinese government satellite office that was essentially operating like a regular police station and responding to stuff around London. And just the amount of, I feel like the fact that, Palantir documents are being sold, NHS documents being sold to Palantir, it's like everyone's just picking us apart. It's and you can't say we don't have it coming a little bit. We are the worst. Like, I know our standing's not great, but there's a real people. And the general feeling I get from living in this country is a comment that I saw was about like how I think TikTok was spyware for the Chinese government as well, which I think there's some truth in. And the comment was basically like, well, I'd rather a foreign government spy on us than our own government. Like, the best option we have in terms of surveillance is just, at least I can get a well-run spy operation. You know what I mean? At least, like, they're kind of chill with me. At least they're sort of feeling out my vibe. Look, they're gonna have my data either way. I'd rather they at least wash their hands. You know what I mean? I'd rather, like, my spy officer, can I at least pick someone that, like, likes my Instagram post? Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like that. Can I at least, like, see that I'm listening to the new Olivia Rodrigo and being like, hey, nice. Like, yeah, Drop Dead's a banger. I think she's one of the greatest songwriters around right now. Like, that's the state of it all. It's so far beyond the thing. And I guess to whichever sort of MI6 operative or KGB guy is checking out this podcast. Hello, welcome. If there's anything you want to talk to me about, if you want any shout outs to the family, I'll do that here. I have to assume that's the main 2 views on YouTube, so I just think it's completely insane. And I don't really know where it ends other than just like continued scenes of what's happening in Belfast or what happened in Belfast, like at what point do we not see that like the clout of comedian podcasters pretending that they're like revolutionary or whatever completely undermine wokery policies that help all of us, that benefit all of us. Like, it's beyond Red Scare stuff. It's like, it's making it impossible to even talk about without being seen as incredibly violent. And it's not partisan. It's not partisan. So yeah, I guess I'm back in this country. so the post-holiday blues are hitting, really. Oh man. And I'm complaining about all this surveillance state stuff, but I didn't even get a good picture of me in a wonderful suit at this wedding. So that's my thing. I wonder if that's only 6 minutes. Oh wow, it's been 17 already. And I guess I'm still sort of surprised and amazed by journalists that are able to break this story and at least bring this stuff to us. I would never consider myself any kind of journalist. I would never consider myself good at that. Mainly because I did a journalism course at university. Can you believe I went to university? It did not help me in any way, but I did an English literature and creative writing course. And what's more creative writing than the truth? But I did this journalism course, and I remember because I pitched my big scoop, my big journalistic scoop, was about how the drama club had favorites that they'd pick when they audition people. Can you believe it? I think it goes all the way to the top. I had it on good authority. I spoke to one whistleblower who will remain nameless. Who will remain nameless because they were like, really, I don't want it getting out. But they pick their favorites. Whenever people audition, they pick the same 5 people. And I thought this was truly groundbreaking and enough for me to at least get a B. And I remember pitching it. I was like, yeah, this is like, it's a conspiracy. They're all plotting against real talent to get through, and I deserve a better look to play Faust. I deserve a better look to be in The Importance of Being Earnest, even though my audition, I was very hungover and did not bring everything to it. And my journalism teacher, God bless her, she was sat there just like listening, like, wow, okay, yeah, I hear you. I have to say, I don't think that's really journalism. I think that's just bitching. So I think I wrote the piece and it didn't do well. And that's why now I'm sat in my own garden on my day off, yapping to you about the state of the world, because this energy's got to go somewhere. In other news, I'm really... I love my coworkers so much. I've never really liked my coworkers before. It's quite a new experience for me. But they're really very sweet people. They're really lovely people. But one of them is incredibly powerful in that she laughs at sort of everything, but doesn't respect comedy. Like, whenever I suggest a sitcom or something to her in the office, she'll be like, oh, God, no. I shouldn't need you to make me laugh, okay? I should be able to laugh at the joy and whimsy that naturally occurs in life. And I think that's just an incredibly powerful new position to take, which I find completely and utterly transformative to me. Of just like your storytelling, it shouldn't stop at just trying to make me laugh. You should be making me feel everything all at once, okay? And to the point where like she doesn't really like stand up, she doesn't really like sitcoms or anything like that. But I just completely, utterly respect it of just being like, are you trying to make me laugh? What makes you think you know what makes me laugh? Like it's not, she doesn't have that much salt about it, but I just really love it, and I can't stop thinking about it. The other thing as well, I can't remember if I've spoken about this, but I have a real problem with easy laughers in my life. You people, you easy laughers, you gas me up way too much. It's actually a little bit worrying. I'll be having a conversation with an easy laugher at a party. I don't think I've even said anything that funny here, but if I'm saying all of this business, they're cracking up like it's the roast of Don Rickles. They are losing it. Like it's Jamie Foxx destroying that guy in his tiny microphone, you know. It's tearing the roof off, but the roof is a teepee for this one person. And I take all of that smoke blowing out of their head, and it goes right up my ass. And I take all that energy, I'm rocking, I'm rolling, and I'm going like, hey Buster, let me tell you the exact same thing I just heard. And it just goes down like a fart in a balloon. Like it wafts around like lead in an elevator. It is certainly not, you are not for everybody, my friend. Like, obviously feel the rush of life hitting you and attack every opportunity like it's your last. But don't come in here thinking you can do, you know, a good Angela Rayner impression because one guy laughed at it. People laugh for all kinds of reasons, and you're just using it for your own selfish energy. So if you are laughing at this way too much, if you're a fan of this, stay away from me, baby. As Karl Marx said, I wouldn't join a club that would have me as a member and laugh at all my jokes like it's nothing. I would rather come away being like, they laugh at everything. Relax. It's like taking a bump of ketamine and suddenly thinking you can handle 6 more beers. So I gotta be careful with you lot. just announcing, if you like any of this, don't leave a comment. Don't let me talk my depressing shit. Hello. You know what? I think we're going to just wrap it up there. We can have a little shorter episode this week. This week is the second this week. Hey, honey. Oh my God. No, you didn't. I was literally talking about how hungry I was. My amazing wife has just brought me a pan au chocolat. And, hey. Oh my God. Oh man. Well, that feels like a perfect way to end it. My policy as a wrap up of every week. Make sure to eat. Always eat when you can, especially when it's around lunchtime. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you later. Goodbye.